Things seem to be running a little bit laggier today, but hi, everybody. Also, guess who's here? The man, the boy, the kid. Charza, where you at, bruh? There he is. Oh. I'm still waiting on him. He is deafened and he cannot hear me. How long did it take you to realize you were deafened?
Oh, I knew I was deafened. I thought we were running the intros, and then I pulled up. I'm not gonna argue with you.
Nah,
I was deafened. I just didn't know where we're going. Okay, I never run the intro or argue with you. I'm sorry. I just pulled up the stream, and I'm like, oh, he's waiting for me. Shit, they're deafened.
Nah, sure happens.
It happens. It happens. Yes.
I turned it on the fucking the preload. Just like speeding through. I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? How are you starting OBS and everything?
Well, I'm sorry. I should have pulled up the podcast or the stream as soon as I got here, or as soon as. Oh, anyway. Yes, hello.
Hello, everybody. Tonight is going to be slightly focused on kind of more than one topic, but mostly one topic.
Yeah. Because
we kind of missed it last week for the fact that some bullshit happened. Take my mother to the medical facility.
Yeah, and speaking of, I mean, she wasn't alone. I had a bit of issue with, as I like to call it, the beatus.
The beatus.
The beatus, the diabetes, yes. God rest his soul, Wilford Brimley. You half the reason I take it seriously is, or remember to take it seriously, is your fault. So, but hey, yeah, it's just me.
Can one really blame his death as being his fault?
No, I'm not saying. I didn't mean by his death.
I know.
I mean by his memes, dude.
I know.
I have type 2 adult onset diabetes, and I only know that because Wilford Brimley has type 2 adult onset diabetes. I'm surrounded by diabetes.
Otherwise known as downtown Detroit.
I mean, speaking of Detroit, have you watched The Closer yet?
I have. I think everybody at this point has, except for the people bitching about it.
Well, for those who don't support a certain company like I do, I mean, I'll be quite honest. I don't have a subscription. My family completely cut off all connections to that after the whole Cuties debacle. But also, it's on a certain website, a certain old tech website that I frequent that has a decent iOS app of all things. So that kind of narrows it down. But let's just say I thoroughly enjoyed that last night when I was working. I was able to stream it with my lock screen, and I enjoyed listening. I had a good few laughs, and also that last bit with Daphne really brought me to tears.
See, the thing that I appreciated is that even on my first watch through, as I just started cataloging what was probably going to become the most trending problem that they had with it, there's two women that are sitting in the third row section.
Oh yeah, I heard about this.
To the left.
Heard about this. My
brother
sent me that picture.
Yeah, and you can see them during the show. They're laughing at every other fucking joke. But as soon as the trans lobby comes up, they are all fucking frowns.
So basically, it was the troll face going from a grimace to a slow scowl. Quite literally the meme. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Like, white people jokes, white people be crazy. Black people jokes, black people be crazy. Trans jokes, how dare you.
I literally found tonight a wonderful stock footage meme, or stock photo that I'm going to be using now from now on. And I recommend you all do this. It's called. I use in the context of here. You drop these, and it's a male. The stock photo literally is called male hand handing out pearl necklace, and I'm like, it's. I know that's half the reason why why these stock footage are memes, but I'm like, what's the application for this in a context of stock photos, other than here's your pearls to clutch. I love it. Anyway, but yes, we're talking mainly about Twitch whole situation, and I will also cite shout out to our good friend Devo, Dev Retrospective on Twitter, and Short Fighter Taco on YouTube. He made a very good video, and I honestly felt really bad because I'm like, you were like, when you mentioned we're going to talk about Twitch, I'm like, oh god, I gotta go unzip those, ungzip the sheets and pull them up. I have, I think all revenues from I believe September 1st pulled up, sorted by highest sub-share gross. But I'm like, oh shit, no, put it all together.
I know
that there's a good video.
I know that was more in the leaks, and that there's supposed to be another leak that's supposed to happen on the 18th, but we don't know.
Yeah.
But when I was
we shall see.
When I was at work and I saw that shit happen, I'm like, man, this shit's gonna be gone as soon as I get home. And lo and fucking behold, because motherfuckers don't archive before they post shit, of course the shit was gone.
You mean the magnet link?
Oh yeah, every single link that was ever linked by any person who looked into it, especially the links that were dropped by Know Nothing TV, who we all got the sources from.
Well, I'm happy because to be honest, it literally bottomed out my fucking what's the word? My server couldn't take all of it, so I literally just grabbed the Twitch payouts, and I had to I trash the rest. So now I'm happy because I made sure I saved at least the Twitch payouts and all the sheets there. They're sitting here on my 2 terabyte hard drive on my computer. So I'm happy I grabbed those. now that you mention it, unfortunately, no, I can't dig through anything else. This last week has been a pain in the ass for me. It's like everything got derailed, even my birthday wishes, that was what got me upset. But
Womp, womp, womp.
I saved the sheets.
Although before we dig into Twitch, we can actually cover a bit of Dave Chappelle. Man, the stupidity and the retardation around this is fucking stupid, right?
So, it's been hilarious to watch.
The first thing that happened was as soon as this special came out, every single person crying up in arms. Oh my god, he's a turf. He's trans against people. It's like, did you watch the special? Did you watch the special? Because you couldn't have watched the special. They even had this argument with actually it wasn't really an argument because it implies that they actually had a point and they didn't.
Oh, of course not.
There are people complaining about what was in the show without even seeing it. And I know they couldn't have seen it because there is a specific tempo to how the jokes ratcheted up. The first thing that he spoke about was DaBaby getting canceled for saying that all his gay fans are clean as shit because they don't do ratchet ass chicken head shit. They don't got AIDS and shit. That was the entire point of what DaBaby said.
That's what he said that got him canceled.
Yes, he said all my gay fans are on that clean shit. They ain't nasty ass motherfuckers.
Of course, that's what got him canceled. I'm not saying more sarcastically because that's ridiculous, but not unsurprising. So from that, Dave Chappelle says, "Did you know that DaBaby killed a man? You could kill a man, but don't you dare make a gay person feel bad." That was the first problem. Then you had the understanding and comparison of him explaining that the gay lobby, the gay mafia, as we actually call them, the lobbyists that exist... Alphabet Mafia, as he called it in 6 and 7, I think is what he called it.
Yes. It's realistically more than just the Alphabet Mafia. In this, it tends to centralize specifically around groups that advertise themselves as queer watchdogs. But it applies both ways, because it can really apply to anything. The behavior is what matters here, not the people who are just doing it. But you have these individuals who are a part of the queer lobby, who specifically do nothing but look at this. To groups like GLAAD and other watchdog groups like them, the fucking writer accounts that are made by Netflix, that are manned by these fucking activists who do nothing but fucking cheer over how important and essential their fucking gay programming is. These individuals are the next one on the chopping block, because he then points out the fact that they treat any minority as lesser than them. And this is very important, actually, notice, because that's the most important thing when it comes to black activism, right? The cracked out fucking hoteps and fucking Cleopatra queens that
That's right. That's right.
that just do nothing but say, yes, blackness is the most important thing. Pumping CRT, screaming Abram X Candy till you die. And if you went onto TikTok from my account recently, or you just troll TikTok really at this point,
That's all.
wall-to-wall coverage of nothing but critical race theorists, men and women showing proudly their degrees in black psychology and how it's so important to understand the black experience. Somehow, some way, in the progressive stack, black person is underneath gay person, which isn't really that surprising. But realistically,
that whole thing with Clifford is very on point.
Mm-hmm. There's a problem. Is that in order to understand why they're pissed off at the third part, which is when he then says what he says about gayness, transness, and then talks about Daphne, and then immediately says, I'm not telling another joke about you until we are sure we're laughing together, is you have to tie it from point 1 to point 2 to point 3. If gays have more progressive power in politics, and they do, over blacks, but it requires the black diaspora to work with the gay in order to try and subjugate any mainstream function or corporation to their bending knee, if the trans lobby believes that their opinion is the one that matters most, then Dave Chappelle has demonstrated that the easiest way to show that they are not about inclusion, but is more about further dominating supremacy, is the entire reaction from what came from him explaining that they cannot just try to silence people, while he then explains that these things are supposed to be jokes, because observational humor and comedy is based on behavior. And the behavioral patterns that they're showing shows that they're not going to get it, and they can't handle it.
Oh, it's genius level trolling. It's something I noticed after 2016. There were half the reason why I used to do what I call playing the Matador was the idea that these people cause more damage to their own cause than anything I could say. I've likened the Let's Go Brandon era something to akin to the to letting your child who you've pulled their fucking hand away I don't know how many times, and they keep putting it up to that oven stove. Eventually, you're just like, fuck it, let yourself get burned, let yourself fuck up, let it happen, because you're not gonna learn any other way. And that's honestly how I look at all this. I'm just like, but in this, and sometimes what you have to do is let them, actually no, this is actually more, let them tie their own rope. Mm-hmm. Is the term my mother uses a lot, or has used in the past in this context. She's like, sometimes all you gotta do is let them tie their own rope. Let them screw themselves. Or in this case, in the context is like, all he did was point this out, and by pointing it out and them taking the bait, they have just ousted themselves. It is quite literally like the most important thing I learned from mentoring. I don't say mentoring, it wasn't technically mentoring, but it is like under the walks full like observation of both Trump and to a certain extent more so Mombot. She was the best at this. She knew this better than anyone. Case in point, when the whole Zach attack, where all these people are saying we need to have all this. These people in Gamergate, they're doxing people. They're doing all these underground. It's like, and then she unleashes all this information that like I've literally done this honeypot for a while. I made a fake account. And these people are basically salivating at the fact of doxing. Doxing account a person doesn't exist that I've set up to claim it's me. Like, I mean, I have dropped. I have this old phrase that I'm sure people have heard, that those who shout the loudest often do so to drown out the skeletons in their own closet, accompanied by that amazing meme I made that apparently has got a lot of mileage. Mm-hmm. That fucking that I have dropped the often do so. The often. Because in all honesty, it's become such a pervasive pattern that I have reduced. I said that in good faith. I said I use that often, more so. I'm like, well, they're not all of them are like this. And then as time goes on, I'm like, oh wait, no, that was me being a little too gracious.
It's not to say that they're all like this. It's that that's what they become when it's more about ideology over behavior. Because it's the reason why over the last 3.5 years that I've basically been an independent journalist without being an independent journalist, I've always tried to identify the behavior patterns, not the people doing it. Because the problem that comes with identifying a villain is that you then stereotype the behavior patterns of what you claim the problem is. This is the problem with the SJW when they try to label everybody as a misogynist. If a person who you choose to identify as the problem isn't actually the problem, and you have made a victim out of them, what you have to do at that point is Emmanuel Goldstein them. This is the reason why I fucking never stop using the people I antagonize, and that I use as a perfect case example of the behavior of this happening. Whether it be with the video game stakes in Shark 3-0, whether it be with Jake and Sarah and Hannah, or any person that's associated with BreadTube and the Cornfield, whatever the fuck they choose to call themselves as, or whatever. The behavior is the thing that matters. Because as far as it goes with just attitude and just consistent tactics and stratagems to political pivoting, I think Vosh's clip of "I will lie to win because my goal is to win as a socialist, not lose as a socialist." Yes. And the fact that I put that out as a TikTok on top of somebody just literally listening to him like explain in the most basic bitch term why dudes don't have the ability to speak for themselves is because in the hyper sense of it, on any issue that could be covered, there is basically 3 tiers of information gathering, right? You have the normal person, you have the informed person, and then you have the informed pundit person. So you can happen with just news reporting. You have an actual news anchor, and you have people who may not know who you personally are, but they know your coverage of the story because they might have read your blog post or your article. They might have seen a video that you made about it. This is very common when it comes to game journalism, when it comes to people who have just started a channel on their own. Like the channel that I actually had a cringe request for the other day concerning Metroid Dread. And it was from Nintendo something, I don't remember, a user that was talking about how Kotaku was just struck by Nintendo in terms of how they basically took someone's 4K PC pirate video of them playing the game in 4K and not actually making it clear, listen guys, the game just came out, please don't pirate it, we're just showing off a cool thing. It's very much that. You have people who have put themselves in a position of power, and for about 8 to 10 years straight, possibly in the future until this shit starts breaking down as a whole, and it's still breaking down, it's just not fully decomposed yet. Break down. The entire issue is that these people have had preferential treatment for so long that equal treatment feels like not only discrimination and oppression to them, but feels specifically like assassination. So they do shit for attention, specifically to try to squelch the opinion of the people underneath them, using their audience sizes to do so. But then sit on the back foot and say, well, see, I've always had this power to do so, and I could really just quash someone's channel if I wanted to, but I just never really had the need to do so. It becomes at the cost of people's attention spans. One of the things that I covered the other day, actually, in one of the TikToks I recorded, just responding to things, because I don't always post every single TikTok that I make when I cross-post them. I just cross-post the ones I think are the best or the funniest.
Cream of the crop.
One of them is explaining that one of the issues that comes with people not paying attention, especially in the case of the Twitch drama, is that they don't have the memory to do so. They literally do not have the brain space to remember all of the situations that ever happen to know what a problem is about. With Twitch drama, for example, one of the things that was actually involved with people understanding how fucked up Twitch behaves, because it's all media companies when it comes to AdSense, but it's very much in Twitch's case because they are literally incompetent. They haven't had competent running since Justin TV became Twitch and then was bought out by Amazon in 2014, which if you watch Dev's video, he goes over.
Dev's video covers that, and that was very well put together.
But I can actually explain deeper on this, because one of the things that made this clear was the information about the brand score. The brand score is basically the system that dictates whether or not they're going to treat you well when it comes to your advertisers. Because
social credit score, basically. For
yes, it is exactly
that's
exactly what it is. It is exactly what it is. It's a social credit score that's just like the invisible rating that they also have here on YouTube, where it will go into the system through the algorithm, and it will filter out words and figure out whether or not it's going to place your channel as any of the 5 ratings. And there, it's like 3 different ratings of what they will then market and settle ads to be placed on your channel for. Now, when you're at a Twitch, when you are a Twitch affiliate, rather, even if you turn on ad-free viewing for your stream, you're still going to be forced to have maybe a pre-roll or a mid-roll somewhere randomly in the middle of a broadcast, as long as a person's tuning in for the first time. It happens every single time, and the only way to get rid of it is to become a power user that buys Twitch Nitro. It's very annoying, and it's by design, because the system wants people to be forced to watch ads so that they can then try to trend people towards whatever is popular, because that's the algorithm that Twitch has. It's less of an actual site that wants people to watch what's there based on the category, and is more about who is the biggest person on the site. It's the concept of what we call top and bottom of the funnel. Twitch, despite how ubiquitous it is, has way too many broadcasters on it. So every single person that's trying to get their audience to watch is what we call the bottom of the funnel. Because people who
to be honest, it's a pyramid scheme is all it is. It's a pyramid scheme. That's what I liked it when I saw Devin Nash's video on it.
Yes and no. There's an entire industry at whole here, but the problem is that the entire concept of the funnel is what causes this. Because that funnel is actually what dictates this problem. So let's use myself as an example.
Okay.
I have a moderately small audience in terms of e-boys. So I'm literally a low follower e-boy. If we compare myself to people like Dev and compare myself to people like Dimitri, for example, they would be upper on the fucking ladder. But this problem affects all 3 of us and every single person who broadcasts equally. The top of the funnel here would be the easiest way for a person to get into your content so that they can become familiarized with yourself. I think the case basis for how Alabaster became the fan of our work is the best case example of this. They saw a thing of me, an impression of me, in a video that they heard somewhere on the internet. Didn't matter if it was YouTube, didn't matter if it was Twitch, didn't matter if it was Twitter. They saw something that I said, and they said, I like that. So they went into the funnel from the top, and then started funneling down closer to the middle until they get to the bottom where they are showing up here for the podcast.
Happy to have you here, by the way.
The way that Twitch works is very much the same problem, but it is actually inverted. You might think that, oh, if I get on Twitch, I will be able to blow up immediately. No, the fuck you won't. There's too many broadcasters. No. There's literally too many broadcasters. From the numbers that we now have, that we're going to show later, all of those numbers that you're seeing represent the top maybe 1,000, maybe 2,000 streamers in whole. Because
real quick, I will comment here. I found negative numbers. I didn't just find zeros. I found negative numbers. Anyway.
Like, literally every single person on that list, and ironically enough, I want to see if I can find myself on that list. Every single person on that list who's in the top, I'm going to say 1 to 2,000, is 0.2% of the audience that makes up Twitch. And the thing about that is that if that is literally the top 0.02% of the entire industry across every single thing, because if you just take Twitch's numbers and then you actually apply it to people who do not stream on the platform anymore because they either have an exclusivity deal with YouTube Gaming or with Facebook Gaming or with some other fucking website, and I don't count DLive because that is an even worse pyramid scheme.
That's cancer.
Don't stream on DLive if you can fucking help it. If you just want to put your stream in as many places as possible and you're already big and you can afford the ability to have the premium subscription for things like the Restream, which is what I use to make shit possible, by all means, but don't go there. Lino was a scam. It was literally a pyramid scheme. That's why PewDiePie dropped it. When it comes to Twitch, it is the bottom of the funnel. Because people who are going to come to watch a streamer play a video game or talk about a topic or hang out with their audience for hours on end is a person who's already committed to being in that group. Whereas the thing that would actually drive more attention to it isn't just the matter of consistency, it is getting eyes on other content on other platforms and bringing them to your stream. So a good example of that is how both myself, Dev, and every other YouTuber will plug the shit that we do and say, hey, if you like this video, here's where you can find more of my work. And also, I'll be live here doing da-da-da-da-da with da-da-da-da-da. And that's...
By the way, Carl, I did find you, by the way.
Cool. And the part of what makes it important is that when you really think of it like that, all of these activists, especially leftist activists, they are the people who have dedicated themselves for the last 10 years to basically building their platforms so they can have this sycophantic audience full of people who have never actually seen their real opinions, because their real opinions are either already accepted by the people who they have as followers, or they've just found all of these people out in the sticks of the internet that will agree with them because they have the same viewpoints, despite the fact that they will never actually see behind the goddamn curtain. And what the Twitch reveals have done is pull back that curtain for a lot of people and just confirm what a lot of us already knew, especially those of us who remembered things in the correct order. Like how many of the things on the platform only became a part of the rules when some e-girl went live or caused drama that then led it to become law. Breastfeeding was like this. Body painting on stream, specifically by Twitch thoughts to try and get ads and get new followers from using their body and their boobs, was like this. It's the reason why fucking Zombie Unicorn was mad at me, because I cited every single case example. It was the reason why she was upset at Bang. It's the reason why Amain got fucking upset at Gundam when he was covering the shit that was what turned out to be technically a hoax of her fans, but her demonstrating that she didn't have the temerity to say, listen, this is fake, but we can talk about this. It was immediately cut to the throat, I'm coming for your sponsor. It's what happened to Calvin when he roasted her about this behavior that she had. It's what happened in the case of Just Call Me Carson getting fucked over by Katarina. I can't remember the girl's name properly.
Guys.
Seven guys.
I know. Well, you gotta realize I made some good memes when I made that Gundam video. That was fun shit.
But this is the cycle of when it comes to drama in news. And when you think about it, especially when you remember the quote tweet that I got about Linus from his own podcast, The Juan Channel, or The Juan Show, talking with his co-host about how he does not like the viewpoint and the perspective that is gotten from being a person who does not exist in this new zeitgeist of the internet.
Brave new world.
The worry of being a person who came from the old internet and basically made his own news media group the same way that Louis Rossman did with tech as it is, and looking at them and saying, I'm worried about this site because I'm tired of seeing drama come from here. That is the perpetual cycle of what really makes it look like it's bigger than what it is. Because when you really think about the fact that people are giving their money to these streamers, to us, I should say, but people are giving their money to us, and the biggest streamers are getting a payout not every month, but every 15 days, because that's how the system works. Every 15 days, your total is calculated, and it's sent to you to whatever form you want. More than likely, for most people, they send it to their PayPal, because it's the easiest way to set it up. They're getting that much money, and when you're at that point, it's much like with any form of activism, when you're using yourself as the selling point and also as the product. Their brand is literally not their personality or the thing that they actively do, the hobby that they take part of, or the thing that they are employed to or that they've created. Their brand is centered on themselves and how they react to the world around them. So much like how gay activists behave, realistically, the thing that makes the drama happen is the fact that it brings attention, negative or not. And for years, you've had a lockstep hegemon between news media, legacy media, missing link media, people who just cover the news, some fucking weirdo in the sticks with his blog, and now recently sold for 4.5 million Reset Era, while the mods continue to do it for free. All of these things, lockstep, joined together with things like Vice, with things like the Huffington Post, with things like the Washington Times, things like the New York Times, things like every single fucking breadtube channel, to try and create a lockstep confirmation bias and thin veneer of news reporting, and I'm air quoting that, to present the facade that this is the real opinion of the world, while the opinions of people like myself live on the shitposting side of the internet, like right underneath the surface. But if you were to go down on that surface to actually find that information, it'd be much like if you were to quote the example of information that was gotten from someone like Ben Shapiro when he quotes the Brookings Institute and how to be able to build generational wealth by completing high school, keeping a job for over a year, and not having children out of wedlock. They will look at you and they'll shoot you for the manslaughter. How dare you quote that person that we don't like here? Don't you know that that's a haram person? But the information is still valid. This is a perfect example with the case of everything that still concerns the COOF when it comes to Project Veritas and all the releases they've done. Because silencing the information and making it so that it's not readily immediately available is a part of the grift. That's a part of the tactic to silence your critics. Because if nobody else hears of them, because this is the thing that Lindsay Ellis was trying to put into words when she said, we can't name what this beast is. The problem is that the beast isn't cancel culture as a whole thing, because the cancel culture is actually a symptom of this level of skullfuckery. It is actually the truth. They cannot tell the truth, because if they tell the truth, the people who have been following and giving them money this entire time are not going to want to unless they are just that addicted. If you look at this in terms of news, when it comes to like games journalism, this is the reason why games journalists harass people on Twitter. Not just because Twitter's ass and it's not a real site, but also because that's how they virtue signal for themselves. I'm a good person. Look at this chud that I just beat out. I care about the disabled players, but like every time when that topic comes up, you realize these people don't actually care about the disabled players, and they certainly don't even care about their own ability to play games. They care about being and looking like they care about everything. Because that's necessary for the brand. But then when you look at the situation of Boyfriend Dungeon, you have Kit Fox Games getting harassed by the very people that claim that they want to be able to have a game that caters to them. But they then say that's not enough. I don't want you to spoil me and make me have to look at the realistic depiction of a toxic user who doesn't have control of himself and emotionally is damaged.
I mean, heck, look at the Has-Been Hotel connection. They're like, oh my God, this has representation, but why are people that are terrible why are people terrible that just so happen to be in hell that are representative of people like me?
And even in the case of just fucking Divsy Pop herself falling in the same into the same rabbit hole of the purity spiral. It is a function of how the left and how woke scolds in general, realistically authoritarians is the proper word to use here. Yeah. It's left-wing and right-wing, because there's a lot more left-wing crazies that overbleed and basically drown out the noise of the right-wing authoritarians.
Overbleed.
But it is a consistent behavior of authoritarians that they need to present it like this, because, well, when your ideology is built upon perceptions and not substance, when you no longer have the perception of being able to make shit, kind of like what we saw with Daft Penna this week, and basically dogging out an artist because they drew Sora as a girl getting fucked, and this dude is somebody who unironically fucking reviewed Jaden animation porn, but...
Can I say something about that real quick? Sure. It does link into what you're discussing.
Sure.
Because this reminds me a lot of the situation I was actually just discussing with my therapist today a bit, because to me, it's funny how insane it is. Words. It's funny to me. Like I was explaining to her the absurdity of today's generation, and I think it really says a lot about. It saddens me because but at the same time, I mean, okay. First off, I got into an argument today with the best teeth around, or at least was the best teeth around, Mr. Anthony Fantano. He didn't respond, but I think he was basically saying that like the whole idea of conservatism or that music and the best art comes from people who buck the trends. As you probably can imagine, I had a lot to say about that. I said, buck the trends, huh? So, I mean, you're the establishment right now. What rustles your jimmies the most, Anthony? And we all know what that is. Conservatives. He is the most. Oh God, we're gonna be. He has become. It's this ironic concept that the current counterculture is to be as tradcon as you can be. I had this idea for a if I made an album, which I call it was like a new punk album, so I had an idea for it. I would literally call it New Counterculturists, an inversion of the Devo album, New Traditionalists. and the picture of it was mainly meant to be just a literal like family portrait on a wall in some looted building. But it was like a nice, like family portrait, because the only thing you can be to be a punk, to be counterculture today is to be conservative. But at the same time, these people have become, in an effort to, I think with Anthony, it was more of like a degradation. There's a lot of people that can cite in this: Chris Ray Gunn, Gus Johnson, even fucking Silvator, or not Silvator. He's based. No, Schiff Frillius, an old YouTube pooper who went to an art college, and I have this amazing archive I have of a tweet he said on January 6th that I literally saved, and I literally waited like hours in a queue to archive it, but it was damn worth it. And it was like, hey, the whole thing about January 6th and all that. Point is, these people, it's almost at first they are introduced to this like, how dare you act this way, and they bend the knee to keep themselves together, and it then after that point becomes a gradual push. I think Chris Ray Gunn was more the fact that he lives in fucking California, stuck in a room with Tim Sweeney and all that. Mm-hmm. Because compare him the other day or a few weeks ago when I got him to respond to me and was basically, oh god, it was hilarious. But compare that to like he basically voted for Biden because he felt like he could bully him into doing what he wanted. So basically, literally quoting Bosch. Compare that to him literally a year prior, where he made the say I want to be president because, and the autocomplete fill the rest. It would be a Biden quote or be a Biden speech. Compare that to that. It's almost night and day. I jokingly said to my friend coworker last year, your 2020 might be going terrible, but it could be worse. It could be shoe on heads who spent the first part of her year essentially benching for or shilling for Bernie, making Joe Biden jokes. Midway through the year, lockdowns escalate. Her boyfriend breaks off her fiance breaks it off because on her 29th birthday, I feel like that was very intentional on Gregory's part, especially, and made some of her previous tweets hilarious in retrospect. And then she had to basically bite the bullet and vote for Bernie or for Joe, and just the 180 from these people. But with that said, I'm on the actual subject of this whole absurdity of Rule 34. I find it so funny. The kids these days, the kids of today, they are outraged at the existence of Rule 34. That is a total inversion from 10, 15 years ago. When I was a kid...
This is South African grooms, unfortunately.
What? Oh. Mm-hmm. 15 years ago, I literally said this point blank to my therapist today when she was here. I was like, I'll be honest. Rule 34 me 15 years ago, good fact material. Specifically Zone. The Zone shit was the best stuff you could find. Great stuff. Great fact material. Mm-hmm. Now, these people are like, excuse me, how old is this fictional cat from Animal Crossing? How dare you make art of that?
Mm-hmm. The woman clout chasing, like that last month, saying that, oh my god, these are fake, and then everybody having to call her the fuck out.
And then there's the whole thing with, again, the Sora thing. Because people are like, oh my god, they're drawing a 14-year-old boy with... It was 16 at the end of this, but anyway... That they're drawing this little kid with boobs, and they're fucking... And I'm just like, okay, so for lack of a better analogy, I say... Oh, why did I tell my therapist that? Mainly because I was quite frank with her, and yeah, anyway. I'm like, the quote, oh, so that's how we're going to play it? I'm like, I'll ask... I literally... No, it's not his mom. It's literally a very nice therapist. Anyway... Point being, I find it so funny because these people aren't here to make an argument. They're here to be angry. In the case of if they really cared about fictional ages of fictional children being drawn in fictional porn, then Rebecca Sugar is over there. How old are Ed and Eddie how old was she when she drew pictures of how old was Ed and Eddie when they're in the gay porn?
Oh, see, it's different. That's one of the justified ones.
Exactly.
Uh-huh. That's how they look at everything. Because unfortunately, we're groomed. It's sad to say that, especially when it comes to Steven Universe, it's sad to say, but these people were groomed. Like, sure, a lot of them seem to have a very weird fascination with children animation, especially when it comes to the ones that are on Disney Channel, Amphibian and the Owl House especially. But
it's funny because, like, I will say, I loved animation as a kid, but there was a part where I grew out of it and then came back to it. But anyway, to go on. The
way that it works for them, I'll finish this thought before I go back to what I was explaining. The way that it works for them is that this was like their gateway into social justice and politics through the means of this animation. And they were groomed by these kinds of fucking teen moms into observing everything as bad and wrong, except when it's justified to right and good, and it is literally down the line of politics. Because this is what happened on Tumblr. These people whipped themselves into a frenzy until they were willing to tell a woman who drew a fan art wrong to kill herself twice. So, when it comes down to why are they like this with the youth now getting upset about Sora, it's because their aesthetic is much like that of Ashley Roboto. They are uwu soft girls and soft boys that only know how to see things in the lens of basically depression porn. Because that's all they watch when it comes to cartoons, especially with fucking shit like Rick and Morty.
I will also note... Oh, continue. Sorry, go ahead. I have a few things to say at the end, but continue.
But, like... really, the people who are responsible for that are, like, several parts, because it can't all be the SJWs, and it was not. Realistically, a lot of that came from Wisecrack, too. Because in the beginning, with Rick and Morty, especially as just, hey, it's a cartoon, and then, ooh, nice writing from Dan Harmon and fucking Justin Roiland. A lot of it was, here's us trying to make an anti-comedy guy, or Family Guy. We're trying to make something that is going to subvert the expectation of what a normal person would like to see, and we're going to basically make a character become sapphicilic to being an asshole god that you're going to be interested in all the time. The same way that when these kids watch something like Steven Universe, or The Owl House, or Amphibia, or any of these fucking shows, especially with things like Gravity Falls, especially if the show actually goes well, you know, if they get to have the ability to say, well, my show was actually good and nobody got harmed for it. A lot of this was the case with things like Voltron, Legendary Defenders, Korra. A lot of those shows that just leaned directly into, let's ship
She-Ra.
the characters and make excuses for how they treat people. She-Ra being probably the best case example recently.
That's fucking, like, yeah, exactly.
A lot of it comes down to, I'm getting opinions from my friend group that I have to like this because that's what's popular, and if I want to trend and become more popular, I need to chase the trends that are going and getting big right now. So when it was Steven Universe, they fucking touted Steven Universe nonstop. And now only after being fully removed from it for years, they actually go back and they analyze the content scholarly, like. Even in their fucking gay little fucking cabaret shit, while they're sitting in their fucking happy house shit, sticking dildos up the butt, putting that on YouTube and saying, that's monetizer friendly, but goddamn don't you dare show anime titty. In the same time that they have those opinions, and they'll say, no, don't listen to Lily Pichu, we don't like Lily Pete, because that transgender person makes us look bad, they still come to the same opinions, and they arrive at the same conclusions we do. This is shit because it's poorly written, because they realize that the optics of what they have liked as an aesthetic, and what they have built themselves around, is the most noxious and toxic shit possible. For something like Steven, that came up, like, towards the ending portion of Universe Future. Because
Pink Purple Dragon.
Because they're
Pink,
yes.
Pink Dragon Mon. Pink Phallic Dragon.
The entire concept for them was like, well, it was supposed to just be a cute magical boy adventure. But of course he had trauma. But it's like, yeah, but you still were happy for fucking space fascists. Just as long as they were lesbians. And with the case of just how they fucked up the Owl House and a lot of Amphibia, them pulling the show from Disney because they were all yes, Disney endorses this, and then they pull season 3 because actually this doesn't sit in line with Disney's values, so we're going to be removing it. It's
Steven Universe peaked at season 1. I fully agree with that statement. I could go on a whole tangent on that.
It's really everything that comes with them putting their faith in the corporation and then getting mad that the corporation didn't do what they wanted. Because you never had control of it. They never told you you were going to have control of it. You just implied because you saw, well, there's a lot of us here, and we're getting you money, so let's keep this going.
Giving you money. That's a laugh.
That's why they get depressed every single time they see a new animated film and they latch on to a character that they're told is the first gay ever. But then they realize, oh, it's been cut for China. And
it goes back to this fundamental concept I have. That bringing up the art of Rebecca Sugar, and believe me, Wonder and I have had field days laughing at these people trying to defend it. It's become the silver bullet to these kind of people. It's the same equivalent of asking a tanky who called you racist or not a literal Nazi, asking them what their opinions on the Jewish question is. It's the exact same thing. It has the exact equivalent reaction as that, and it's so fucking predictable. Because again, these people, I will say this much about these. I will also add that I think this is something I've been noticing. I mean, I don't have to tell you guys a story. I probably mentioned this last time. I know I probably mentioned this on the podcast. The time I literally caught a kid. I got a kid so angry at K-Poop Stan. I got her so angry she let slip her mother was planning terroristic threats back in their home country in Northern Africa. I'm not, and they have Arab Spring issues there. Okay, but this was like some kid in like in Paris who's basically her phone is raising her. Something I also mentioned to my therapist, 'cause she has a kid. I should find to get my therapist about the same age as I am. But I had mentioned, and this is something that I think really hits this home. Kids have been watching so much Peppa Pig during lockdown, they're getting British accents. And the parents are like, "How could this have happened?" Well, to be fair, let's be perfectly honest here. Gee, I wonder how that could have happened. Isn't there an episode of Magic School Bus where Arthur turns orange because he ate too many carrots over a long period of time? There is an episode. That's a rhetorical question. And in the Ask Magic School Bus segment, they ask about it. And like, realistically, kids, you'd have to eat so many carrots over such a long period of time to that ever happen. But I think I would argue the same is true about accents in that regard. So it begs the question here. Yes, parents, how could that have happened? The only way they could have gotten that is while watching metric fuck tons of fucking Peppa Pig. How exactly did that happen? Could it be that you let their phone or let something babysit your kid or raise them instead of you? And that's the issue I've been noticing with all these kids. I asked them, I point blank, how long have you had this phone? How long have you been raised by this phone? And invariably, it's asking where are your parents is a pretty it's a shitty thing to ask. But at the same time, modern day,
I'm not adverse to saying where's your father, but I'm also very, very close to say how close are you to your mother.
I have to ask them, like, did your phone raise your kid? Did your phone raise them? Did they give that to you to fuck off? Is your mother in the other? Is your mother in the other room fucking some random person that that obviously isn't your actual father? What is your I don't ask it because I hate them. Quite the contrary.
Oh no, I hate them. I can fucking die.
No. It's, for me personally, I think I've said this before. I don't do this stuff on Twitter and all those other places because I hate these people. In fact, that has never been my intention. That was never my intent, and I've never meant it that way. I have always stuck by this idea, because this is my own personal experience, let's be fair, where that the only way I was able to break out of my own spiraling downward spiral of sorts of self-pity and self-hatred was realizing where I was, and that I was basically building up a false reality because my life was shitty. But just as easily as I could tear that down, I could also, like, the only thing keep me back from building up something was that anger from my past. I was trying, time to stop, exactly. I do it to essentially induce cognitive dissonance, to get these people to think about where they are in life. Because it did take, the first time it happened, when my mom and dad told me something, I didn't want to listen to it. But after a while, I needed to build up myself, build up internal validation. These people have spent their entire lives staring at a screen, and they have built up their validation externally instead of internally. And quite frankly, I remember when I had to learn that. I had to literally say to myself, I can no longer build my existence, my own personal identity on external validation. That was when I was dealing with a Twitch streamer who was the embodiment of the SJW stereotype. Okay? I was her emotional yes man as she banged people on fucking Tinder. And this was the moment where she was like, "Oh, these hookups are so," and I'm like, "Well, here I am over in the friend zone." And then she snapped at me and said, "You bring up that word ever again, I will block you entirely." And that's when I thought about it. I'm like, "Why am I here?" Like, that's when it hit me. I'm like, I am here. I'm not. Yeah, I was a simp. I will freely admit this, because it was someone that I met on a dating app, and I could see myself essentially doing that, bending over, being going through all these motions just for a shot at someone. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I'm like, you know what? I cannot let this happen anymore. I cannot let this happen anymore. And I basically told her, it's like, look, I have warped myself in this concept, and if I can't do this anymore. And like, if we can be on equal footing, that's fine. Like, and she was all like, "Oh, I'm sorry if I said something that upset." And then, like, as soon as I turned around and grew a pair and said that to her, "Well, I think should be friends anymore." And then, like, as soon as she says that, she posts on Twitter, "So, does anyone want to sit down next to me, tell me they love me, and watch Sailor Moon?" And I'm like, she told me one thing, but let's be honest here, that's not what she meant. And I saw it right there. The funniest thing we'll mention about this. You know what her plan in life was? Because she flunked out of college mainly because of breakup. Because I tend to notice that everything went downhill for ever since she flunked out of college, and I don't know if this is a healthy cope, but I don't think many people make a breakup album on Bandcamp with the title "Don't Leave Me with a Picture of You in a Thong," with the title art being a picture of her ex in a thong.
Was this a lesbian?
No. She's probably bi. But it was a guy. It was like, you look at her pictures from when she was in college and doing music and playing in bands. I don't think she had dyed hair then. And then this happens, and like, you could tell that's entire. And she had issues with her family. I mean, I'm not gonna go much detail. She had some real mama issues.
Motherless behavior.
What?
It's motherless behavior.
Well, I mean, for goodness sake, her like. But when she starts, my dad met my mom when she was gutting a deer on an Indian reservation. That's a hell of a story to start. But I will say, it was, I could read her like a book in that regard. It was so obvious of where she was, and like, but her plan was, and this is the funniest part. This is the best part. Her plan at this point in her life was to get a hairdresser's degree. And then she was going to move out to Austin, which she actually finally did. And then she was going to get a hairdresser job in Austin, around a certain animation studio, and somehow magically would be able to pitch this show to this animation studio that lives in Austin, who has recently fucking imploded over a lot of sexual assault allegations, sexual favors, sexual whatever. And the entire company is being uprooted because of that over the last few months and years. So I wonder, what could she possibly do to get that in? I kid you not. I saw her photos of when she moved out there, and I saw her boyfriend that was there with flowers for her, and I'm like, oh, you sweet summer child, you're gonna be cooked. You're gonna get a blowy to get in that Rooster Teeth, and you probably are sadly probably aware of this. And then she's back. Like, not even 6 months after going, she's back. I'm like, yeah, Rooster Teeth. That's exactly what it was.
I don't mean to cut you off. I don't mean to cut you off your story, but
it's one of those stories. But anyway, continue.
But I want to pigeon off that, because that was actually the thing I was pushing towards, the externalization of their personalities and their opinions. Because this is the entire thing that happened with Dave Chappelle.
Yes.
What happened immediately after the you are against the trans people. We will not
Here we
stand
go.
for this. Was those employees went into the offices and barged
people.
into a director level meeting that they do not have the authorization to be in.
It was a Zoom call, but they hacked in.
Yes. So they were doing it specifically because of that concept. They had the externalization of believing that they have all of the might and right on their side. There's no way that they wouldn't.
History.
There's no way that they wouldn't ever be able to get this over. Of course they're going to listen to them. Why wouldn't they? And this is the reason why every single time I see and hear Twitch in the news, or excuse me, I see and hear Netflix in the news, but Twitch is about to be right there behind them because they do this shit too.
Oh,
that's why they make their fucking. That's why they make that shit where they try to promote shit with Latinx and women's gaming shit.
Meanwhile, Disney Plus is over here being based, but
Disney Plus has the same problem, but
no,
it's
I said Latin America specifically. They're
yes.
I'll talk about that later. That's a story.
Yes, but when it comes to Netflix, they understand that this shit does not bring money, right? That fucking article that I bring up all the time about them saying that we're making entertainment, we're not speaking truth to power, is what happens when they realize, actually, this political shit gets really scary and really expensive really fast. So
also Disney canceling all these shows.
Yes, and what came with that was that they had to make a whole bunch of shit as spin-offs for that, which is where them taking concepts and buying concepts and then trying to make it into shit that they can have watched is fucking scary as hell. Because one of the things that they recently did is that they actually purchased the entire state of Roald Dahl and all of his stories, so they could be able to make adaptations
Netflix?
of their so they could be able to make adaptations of that
that's
work.
where the Wonka's coming from. Okay,
And that's part of the consequence of them wanting to try and pander to these audiences. It's what they did with Anne and with an E. It's kind of part of the reason why they ended up picking up Lucifer and trying to make it better, because it was dying in its fucking network slot. Because they didn't have the ability to do storytelling, because they weren't interested in it. Yes, same thing. Preacher is also a consequence of this. Any kind of DC property, any kind of Marvel property that exists that gets put to daytime primetime television or nighttime primetime television, it gets fucking rotted out because these are the people who are writing the show. They don't have an interest in actually telling the story of the story, even when it comes to them wanting to put their spin on it and trying to make it different, which is probably the issue when it comes to things like Batwoman, Stargirl, and whatnot. I was actually watching Superman and Lois before this, and god damn it, CW fucking got me hooked to that show, only because, ironically enough, Tyler Hoechlin makes a really good Superman.
Oh yeah, I heard that show's really good. It was like surprisingly good.
And the problem with it is that when you look at that, and you're like, how much budget did you throw at this? This came after their Crisis event. How much money did you throw at them to take this concept that you were shitposting in your head with Lex Luthor, Jonathan Cryer, and turn it into a decent product, but you have all this bullshit in your back catalog that is fucking dumb. It's going to stay dumb like that, too.
Carl, hang on for a sec. Are you telling me that Jeff Johns fucking destroyed his own creation in Stargirl? Oh man, what a shock! It's almost like Three Jokers and Doomsday Clock was a harbinger that he had no idea what he was doing anymore.
See, I've been because of my use of TikTok, I've been watching a lot of the account of Panda Red, this white guy who just does nothing but DC shit. Very, very knowledgeable DC nerd, and he loves the shit out of the Bat family. And he specifically cites the fact that he hates the Doomsday Clock story because of what's in that fucking book.
Let me put you this way. I was fucking excited when they went with DC Universe Rebirth. I kid you not, both that and Three Jokers, I had ideas in my head how they were going to do it, and those ideas are far more creative and amazing than what he got out. Most notably Three Jokers. Like Three Jokers to me not only feels like him saying I'm gonna be the better version. I can be like Alan Moore. First off, no, you fucking can't. Don't stop kidding yourself.
It's just pain.
But also,
it's just pain.
Don't get me started. Okay, I will say this. I have to say this because I've never fully said this. My idea for the Three Jokers was an extension of the Pale Man from Scott Snyder's run. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I felt like the whole idea was one massive conspiracy over the course of all of Gotham. That this man was there was a pale man that was causing all this. That was like I thought they were really gonna go deep into that. I figured at least the original Joker, who that was an amazing design. It nailed the Golden Age Joker design.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were gonna go for that and say, "Oh, this is like some massive conspiracy." I also thought Jason was possibly gonna be the new Joker, like because honestly, that was the thematic core of Jason as Red Hood. Like throughout the whole idea was that he took the original name of the Joker, and the whole idea was he was the freaking prodigal son who was turning into what he hated. That was like the whole idea of it. That was a tragedy of Jason. And then like that melding in with the whole Pale Man thing, and that like a lot of things could have happened because of this like almost supernatural immortal being who always dies and comes back. Like there was like so many ideas I had, but no. What we got was a fucking terrible fucking excuse for a sequel to The Killing Joke. It came off very petty. It came off like, oh, Scott Snyder thinks he can define the Joker in some way. I'll show him. I will literally carve out this one section and throw it in the trash. Say, I got you better. I made it so it's canon now. I made that as cutting off your nose to literally spite your face.
Like, there's an entire stream that we can go through, just going through the failure that is the comic book industry now, starting all the way back.
Failure of Jeff Johns in general. I could go on a whole rant about that.
Like, I just want to, like, the whole industry as a whole, if I could just sit down and be like, okay, so let's go all the way back to move the needle.
Next week, because I can do some preparation.
Maybe, because at the same time, it's like, if you really wanted to learn what happened, all you have to really do is just watch Zach's channel and just listen to...
Yeah, Zach. Perch is very good, too.
Perch
I also
and
recommend
Zach.
it. SF Debris has a whole retrospective on the rise and fall of the comic industry in the 90s, and it's so funny. I remember listening to that, then and him mentioning in the epilogue about how Diamond has made everything a fucking time bomb. And like also Neon from Kanabashivi echoing that similar sentiment. And then this happens, you know.
Yeah, also watch Just Some Guy too. But
Just Some Guy is one of he is biting, but he says things I need to hear sometimes.
He is the comics industry's version of Razor Fist, honestly. But
yeah, I mean,
we gotta move on though.
I will note this: Perch, by contrast, is a Styx, Hex and Hammer of the comic industry.
So,
I love him. Anyway,
all right. So
onward.
I'm eating an apple pie from Popeyes.
Ooh. I would eat that, but I have to beat us. I just got some. I got like 6 Coney dogs from a local Coney shop. Good stuff. So,
yes. After the interns break into the meeting, they get suspended for this. But they portrayed this in the news as they were punished for speaking out against Dave Chappelle.
No.
Which is obviously a fucking lie. Every single article reported it as such. And then, the transgender showrunner for Dear White People, yes, that's right, a white transgender woman.
That was one of the funniest things to come out of all of this. And her thinking that she would get away with it. Like, those people were like, bitch.
See,
I didn't realize a white woman was actually fucking running that show. The
funny thing is that they just picked it up in season 4. That's the key thing there. They are the new showrunner. They weren't doing it the entire time, but people, again, they don't listen to details and they don't want to pay attention. But they wanted to claim this shit. So it was what was funny. They went with what was funniest, and what was funniest was, hey, a white transgender woman is the one who's running Dear White People. But anyways, the news story circulates around that, and then you have a whole bunch of people, especially actual fucking members of staff from Dear White People, going on and on about, well, you don't need to actually protect Dave Chappelle's Dave Chappelle defenders. He doesn't need you. It's like, Dave Chappelle doesn't need defending because the bitch isn't facing criticism. He's ignoring criticism because there's nothing to be criticized. He's right. He's 1,000% fucking right.
I'm right.
And part of the reason why this is important is because it's the same mentality when it comes to the industry as a whole. To bring back to the concept about how Twitch works, so we can transition to this properly.
By all means.
The issue at the end of the day is that whenever any person, especially like myself, says the literally the unfalsifiable, 100% correct, there is literally no other interpretation of this, because you have to literally be that retarded. There's a clip that's going around right now where a person basically is bitching and moaning about Metroid Dread in general and saying that the game is too hard, because of course somebody made the fucking the fruit stand tweet, which is, compare this $60 game versus this $70 game. Which one is a better experience? Of course that tweet happened. But then there's another tweet of somebody who was bitching about, like, subtle cues in the audience, or while you're playing the game, that tells you to destroy certain destructible objects. And it's like, what are you talking about? There's always been this element in Metroidvanias, especially with Metroid. Have you not played the game ever at all? It is like that, where you can have the correct opinion, and there will be somebody who will specifically come forward to say, no, we can't listen to that person, because don't you know, this is what they do over here. That's what happened with Shark 3-0, and that's what kept pissing me off so goddamn much. Because it wasn't that it happened, it's that this person is still having people cope in life with them. Even this small-ass video that has maybe 1,000, 1,100 views on it. It is the fact that it exists that pisses me the fuck off.
Fucking problem here.
Like, that's the problem, that it exists, that pisses me fucking off. Because this is how it starts, and that's how it happens. How do you get an entire industry that ignores all of the problems with Twitch as a whole? You get it by having Twitch be incompetent and constantly making rules that then allow for it to get to the point that it becomes softcore porn. How do you get people harassing somebody like Miss Bananas, when we had her on the podcast to talk about it, getting attacked by verified users like Asmongold and like Pocket, telling her, no, that doesn't actually happen. That's not why you're upset. You're upset because you're jealous. How do you get that happen in an industry where you're at the same time with the same users then say, oh man, isn't it so bad that harassment and bullshit happens at Activision Blizzard and Riot? You get it through the exact same behavior and the exact same viewpoint, because you're not picking up on the shit that's happening. You only care about it when it happens in such a way that you can support it by offering and sacrificing nothing of your integrity or of your support, except not giving them your money anymore after already benefiting from doing so. Basically,
Ben and Jerry's.
I mean, Ben and Jerry's kind of, but they just do it because it brings them good attention and good profit.
Hear me out. There was an amazing.
Are you talking about the interview? Yes, I saw it. Yeah, I saw it.
Exactly. That's what I'm referring to.
What? It's more like, in the case of Blizzard, specifically, because Twitch's behavior mirrors a lot of Activision Blizzard's behavior.
Or how Jew Oreos, people knew about Jew Oreo but kept it quiet because they didn't want to give Gamergate the win. That's why Mombot left for the first time, and then fucking Notch had to wish her back with the Dragon Balls. Mm-hmm. Wish I was joking.
The way that it gets this bad is you have an entire industry that is not willing to have open, honest conversations. Because the only people who are having these conversations, like I explained the other day, is that you're literally talking to the people who are the result cause for the problem. It's the reason why, even when I cite and source Devin Nash for a lot of things, when he then goes on to say, well, I had to step away from the industry because of this is what I was saying. What were you saying, Devin? What were the names of the streamers and what were the behaviors they were doing? Who did it? When did they do it? Huh? What? You interview these people? You said that they didn't care about these things. But what's this? What's this? What's this? What's this?
What's this? There's colors everywhere, Carl.
It's just
there's white things in the air.
It gets to a point where it does nothing but upset you, because the problem of why people care about Twitch in general is that it was one of the things that people used to have that was their place to be, if you really want to claim it as a space. Because realistically, there is no such thing as a gaming community, but there is such a thing as a gaming space. And what happened is that this space got terraformed into something that it no longer represents what it started out as. And when you look at the fucking Twitch leaks as a whole, which you can start screen sharing with me so I can put them on screen now.
By all means,
When you look at these numbers and you really think about how much drama happens on a regular day basis, you'll probably not recognize any of these people's names, except for the few ones that actually stand out. Because the household ones, the ones that you know about, like Asmongold, these are the people who at the same time are directly connected to things like Dev and Sargon because he was a moderator when he was debating people like Destiny and Nick Fuentes. The fact that a lot of these people have overlap because of the fact they find themselves in this place, because as things continue to move forward, politics becomes ever more ingrained into these things that there's no other way to get away from them except for facing them for what they are, because that's just the consequence of this. If Twitch is the bottom of the funnel when it comes to getting people to be entrenched in things, the reason why things are so fully on display and abused as they are is because these are the people who literally don't have to actually be involved so much as just being a part and attached to the thing, so they have social relevance. They are the very casuals that tyrannize everybody that I dislike. That's why we have Carl's Law. But they are also the people who are more than happy to watch the fucking wheels get ridden off, because they're dick riders, realistically. They are dick riders that are happy to ride the website until it fully breaks down and then just pick up and go somewhere else. Because they've already established themselves as a name brand. They're not gonna starve.
Locusts, yeah.
They will not starve. And it's unfortunate that it has to be like that, because it is, sadly, the consequence that comes with just understanding what the problem is as a whole. Because the real problem there isn't, well, they made money. Nobody gives a shit that they made money. That is not the problem. It has never been the problem. You have to be fucking stupid to believe that is the problem. You really just have to be that dumb to believe that, especially if you're listening to the grifters. Don't listen and go to grifters for information, because they're going to lie to your face anyways.
Yeah.
You have to be very socially gullible and inept to believe that the reason people are upset about the numbers is because the people who are popular make money. That's not the problem. I don't care that they make money. It's the reason why people are roasting Hassan. You cannot say at the same time, we should tax the rich, while you're making $200,000, not monthly, but every half month. $200,000, while your mother cooks your fucking chicken nuggets for you. And you say, we should do something about capitalism. You can't maximize your capitalism and then say, we should be socialists, guys. That's retarded.
I love how Max fucking quoted him. Like, Max quoted him directly. Sorry, continue.
Mm-hmm. And it's even worse when it comes to people like Bosch, Ian Cocklicker, living in Beverly Hills, doing the same thing. He's not making as much money, but he is very much still the fucking rich. He's secured enough that he doesn't have to worry about anything. And that's from just grifting on top of every single news topic possible and putting his name in front of it. The word that I came up with to describe this kind of behavior is topical cockroach. These people are topical cockroaches, not just politically, but socially. They exist with each other in this ecosystem of a food web, where they create drama, or drama happens spontaneously, and they will jump on top of it, suckle it dry for every single little bit possible, forget the opinion that they just put down on camera, because they only live inside of the view of their live stream. They're not going to put together actual videos for comedy and entertainment. They don't pay people for that. That's why everything's always broadcasted. But people have a desire to want to see things later because, hey, some things are memorable, like Germa playing IRL Sims. People have this desire to want to connect to these audiences because when you're a broadcaster, you're not just playing video games on camera and just seeing names go out on a screen. There are human lives connected to the interactions behind them. And what happens, especially when it comes to the case basis of companies like Riot and when they make games like League of Legends, what happens in the GOS model system, when you have this kind of interaction, or any game with a social element to it, you have to remember that there are people who chose to take time out of their day and money out of their wallets to commit themselves to doing this thing. And when you rot that down from the inside out, and you keep covering up the problem, people are going to find ways to express their displeasure with your behavior the same way a person who, like right now with League of Legends, which is why I bring it up, they're removing something like all chat from a game. The ability to cross-speak to the enemy team, which realistically is a wild concept to put into fucking competitive games anyways, because why would you want to have the ability to talk to the enemy team? You shouldn't have to.
That's why.
Your mother and all the men that she was favored last night, including me. But
no, I'm just saying is that.
Oh no, I know. But they removing all chat is not going to stop the toxicity from things, right? It will only amplify it.
Yeah.
Trying to change things in your game, Blizzard, and try to remove all of the sexual references and all of the sexual explicit material or sexually suggestive
Resident
material.
Evil 4.
Resident Evil 4 is fucking censorship on these platforms.
No, I'm saying is that Resident Evil 4 VR, good example.
Yes, that's what I was talking about. Removing these things from the game to try and please the Chinese market who's already fucking you because the regulations and stipulations they placed on banning kids from playing games for more than an hour, especially on the weekends.
That's been hilarious.
Is based specifically in the fact that they believe that this model that you've created to try and pump the entertainment value and the monetization of their disposable income for every single goddamn rich it's sent for is the reason why it causes it. It's the same thing with an industry as it is with the thing you choose to do for habit. If people are removed from the ability to actually vocalize their issues and their points, they're going to turn to more extreme means. Some of that comes in the form...
And then they're going to be labeled domestic terrorists.
Yes!
You know, like it...
Unironically, yes! Like the YouTube shooting, for example.
No, I'm serious.
Oh, no, I know what you're talking about! I know what you're talking about!
Okay.
But...
I'm echoing, by the way.
Like, examples like the YouTube shooter. She didn't do that randomly on a fucking whim. She did that because she was provoked by her channel getting demonetized.
Yes, her.
And now, we live in a daily system where, because YouTube is fucking trying to do everything possible to copy other platforms, they've introduced the Shorts function, which is basically just Instagram short videos and TikTok short videos, where all I ever get on top of those in advertisements is thirst traps, ass, fucking shit posts from the worst kind of people who try to view things in this progressive lens, especially when it comes to video games, and saying, no, we can't have this in games because think of the women. Well, at the same time, I can go onto Twitter right fucking now, and if I'm not blocked by users like that, saying them a horny post about dudes and then women in general all day fucking long. Long running behavior of just on places like TikTok in general, the second hell site, second to Twitter nonetheless, where all I ever see is critical race theory bullshit, and people thirst trapping for fans and audience and views, and then leveraging those views to attack other people. One of the people who tried to actually basically get my account, the first one that I had, banned on that platform, specifically did so because they did not like the fact that I called them out for their behavior, because they are a Native American who has 1.5 million followers and uses them the same way that that fucking meme thief that used to have the fucking Goku, or was it Barack Obama? Yes, that used his followers, Barack Obama, like attack bees to try and destroy someone's platform and then brag about the fact that they did so because they don't have anything else but this. Companies do it, individuals do it, a lot of people fucking do it, and it's because it's a very valuable way to ensure that you never starve. If the only thing that you ever do with the industry as a whole, I'm trying to get it fucking up here, but it's not. Dad, you want to fucking work with me? Vito's a good example, but there's even older examples and versions of him, and I think Daft Pina is probably one of the better ones. But when your entire business requires making victims out of people, when all you have is just victimizing them and treating them like they don't have the right to exist, they aren't allowed to be themselves, and the only time they're ever allowed to exist is when they're serving you, you get up into a system of behavior that basically treats them like they do not exist except for your convenience. And the sad factor of this is that the more that happens, the more dangerous it becomes to actually have things, because you can't actually enjoy anything anymore. It becomes a shame. It becomes a mark on the industry. Instead of being something that we do for fun, we do because it has to become the way that we eat. And the thing about that is that this level of the 2 minutes of hate, making Emmanuel Goldsteins out of people you don't like in the industry to keep the bag going for yourself, is that not only does the industry suffer as a whole and people can't discover the content they want to find and look for, everything becomes homogenized and becomes boring, which we already have been experiencing. But the last thing that happens is that it makes it so that nobody wants to do either thing at all. Not just not make games or play games, but not want to be in these systems. It's like how a person goes to college and they want to put all the freshman people together to try and give them the encouragement basically to become college co-eds and sleep with them. like dead ass. And it's because it keeps them invested in what they're doing. It makes them feel like they're important and that they're having a life and that they're able to talk to people who are of their own level. It doesn't really work out at all places and points and things, because really, at the end of the day, what you're really saying is that things are so boring that you need to give people drama to give them something to be unified about. But this unity is so broken when it comes to the gaming hobby itself, because there is no such thing as a community. There is only a such thing as a space. This is the reason why I'm heartbroken about fucking PSO2, because banning basically 50%, well, actually more than that, more like 80% of the player base, because you want to sanction them for things that they did privately in their own time, not affecting anybody. Banning them because they dare make a booby fighter, because the market literally revolved around the price of one specific cosmetic piece that makes big fucking honkers part of your character's design, and there's only 2 of them that are tinted and non-tinted, so they're trying to get the version that works best with the outfit that they're trying to plan for that female character, or for me, picking up outfits from the Arts Cash tickets so they can best look like Orange from Code Geass. This is what they play for. It is an involvement. You are directly fucking not just with their enjoyment, but with their money. And with these kinds of people that can address this problem when it comes to their thing, but not with anything as a whole, it rots it out from the inside and basically makes it untenable to have anything at all. What is going on with your screen? It is so de-rezzed out. Let me try to fix this. There we go. I know. I saw. I was already looking at it. I was already looking at it. What are you doing? What causes this problem is that ultimately the company doesn't fucking care at all. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop trying to show you dick. But what causes this problem at the top end really is the disconnect from the supporters and the company, because at the end of the day, it is a product. Gaming as a whole is a product, realistically. You give them money for a game, they give you a game, you play it. With the GOS model, you basically subscribe to a game, they promise you the experience of the game, but the experience doesn't actually keep you there. Because, especially if you've been watching me play MOBAs in general, what am I supposed to connect to? Am I supposed to connect to the flamer who's going to come to my stream and try to dog me out while I actually explain to him why he's playing so badly? And then when I go over the VOD and I make my point, Charza, put the goddamn numbers back on the screen. When I try to go when I try to go over the details of what happens in the game, the user comes to me and says, "No, that's not what happened. No, that's not what happened at all. You don't know what you're doing." And it's like, yes, I do. Why are you like this? Why are you behaving like this? What are you doing that's helping us? This doesn't help anything. This is dumb. Stop being stupid. That level of animosity and this level of grifting is what has caused us to come here to these numbers. Now, what you're saying...
Yeah, by the way, this one I'm highlighting right here, guess who that is?
I don't know, because I can't see the numbers. Hold on. I need to fucking refresh it.
Okay, I'll try that again. Am I still here? I'm still here.
Yes, this is something that happens with Discord a lot when you try to screen share it. But
so, who do you think this number?
I'm going to assume Pokemon.
It's you.
Oh, cool.
Let's see how much Carl makes.
Not enough.
Let's,
yeah, nearly enough.
To be fair, I literally pulled you up, and as you're... Okay, first off, my screen is now fucking up. That's great. But, I literally pulled you up. Okay, what the hell is going on here? Okay, I pulled you up, and then I found a friend of mine who's also a streamer. He makes more than you. Like 50... Like 5 times as much as you are.
Uh-huh. I believe
it's kind of funny. But yeah, here's you. You make about $9.11 from, I think, subs. Yeah.
Yes.
And did I lose it? No, I didn't. Okay, first off, look at how many of these make less than $10. You're one of them.
Mm-hmm.
and then it gets up to 20. Mind you, we're at like 7K, 7.6K. Okay, thank God. I was worried there because I could keep hearing myself. It was ridiculous. Anyway, and then get up here, and let's see how many people make like around 300. I don't know. This is again just sub feed. Number one up here. God, I'm echoing. Am I echoing on the stream?
No.
Well, I'm echoing in my ear. Fuck. Okay. Up here at how much is that? From alone, subs 200K with critical roles. I found out. But first off, or before I go further, let's go down.
Is this only listed by user IDs and not username?
Yes. So I had to literally search some of these.
Ah.
But again, I literally put in your single player Carl on Twitch. Like there's an app I found that can find the ID by names, and I search for it. That thing down here is you.
Okay.
That where my screen is. God, this is getting so hard here by myself while I'm saying it. And a bit of like, anyway, let's go down here. Look at how many people. We're not even halfway through. And look how. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out how many people make nothing from subs. Okay. And I don't think it loaded everything in, to be perfectly clear. I think it gave me an error at one point. Let's see. Cut. Okay, so 3. Okay. This is where the 0 star. Carl, I don't know why I'm hearing that go, but can you please stop?
I'm not doing anything.
Get rid of that. Okay. We're not even at 40,000 users. Like 40,000 entries. This is 390635. So there's 30. It's that minus 1 is how many people are actually making money from subs. Now let's see how far this goes down. We are the furthest down it goes in number of users is 104,000. Wait, no, 1,048,575. That's how many entries are in this. I don't know if that was the whole table. It may not have. But notice again the percentage. That's how many people. Fuck it, I'm gonna do the math real quick. Okay, so we have 39. Let's just say 39,000 minus, or like 1 million. Okay, there are over 1 million people who make nothing, or in this case, negative. I don't even know how that works. There are how many people?
I wouldn't even be able to tell you how.
But so apparently there's like less. There's a like. I think where the number stops. Okay, so there's at least 100 people, 150 people minimum, who are negative balance apparently. But again, I don't know which one was the last one that had a positive balance here. I'm gonna just go back up again. It's like 34, maybe. Let me just double check how much, because I'm gonna know how many there are versus how many. God, this echo's driving me nuts. Okay, so let's do that real quick. I'm gonna pull this up on a different sheet. So we got 39063. Oh, God, I hear myself. That's ridiculous. Okay, yeah, 6333. 390633. That's how many people are making money. And then we're gonna put in the total that are at least on the sheet. And that is that. Let's see if I can just grab that quick. All right. So of the 39,000 is the percentage. So let's move this real quick. So it was we're gonna have. I'm sorry, this is really, yeah.
Hey, you're the one that wanted to do numbers.
Fair enough. I'm just making sure. God, this drives me nuts hearing myself echo as I say it.
It's probably because the sound is going through.
Yeah, and that's really wonderful.
I am not the designer of Discord.
What?
I'm not the designer of Discord.
Fair enough. I'm just gonna run this real quick through a percentage here. And we get how much percentage? No. Fuck. Oh, that's why. I think. Okay. Oh, okay. Fuck, I'm just messing this. Okay. 37% is the amount of users who actually make money, any money, through subs.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that, like, and mind you, that's including any revenue. Like I'm not including, or from subs. There's a negative balance here. I don't know how the fuck that works, but you go up here. Okay, ad share gross. Again, Critical Role is highest when it comes to sub share. Ad share growth is this one. Let me just do it real quick. Where is it? I'm gonna put in. I basically put in the ID Twitch. Here again. How do I really sound? Am I that autistic?
Yes.
Okay, so XQC is the highest paid when it comes to ad share, but as you can see, he's nowhere close to sub share gross. Bit share gross, again, he's higher than 4 bits for. So if I'm gonna sort this by sort. Take a minute because it's gonna sort like over 1 million of these damn things.
I feel like at that point that it's unnecessary, but at the same time, this is fun.
Oh, yeah, it's fun to hear myself over and over. Wait, what?
Now you are the one ranting.
Yes, I am. And okay, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. It's like most of the people don't make anything.
Mm-hmm.
When Devin Nash was this, driving me mad hearing all this, hearing myself. Look, okay, these are again. Okay, so there's a lot of people making thousands. Let's see if we can get to like the 1,000. It's actually, here's a good question. Where I know that if you watch his video, if you watch fucking what's his name, if you watched Dev's video, he mentioned a certain person and said, I saw how much you make, Mr. Grifter. Fuck, where did I put that? Yes, easily convert your Twitch username to whatever. And what is the name of Vosh on Twitch? What's his name of his channel?
I think it's literally just Vosh.
Vosh V, or wait, let me just double check. Instagram and everything, that's Vosh V, but fuck on Twitch. I thought I'd double check his name. Vosh Vidya? There is no okay. Oh, it's his Clips channel. Okay. I don't even know what it. Okay, I'm just gonna look it up. I'm just gonna put Vosh in. All right, put Vosh in and just double check because I want to know where he is on this. I want how much he makes. I'm gonna get in trouble for this. I'm going to jail. See if I can search this real quick. Hold this up.
It looks like it's Vosh V on Twitch.
Oh, Vosh V. Okay, no wonder I couldn't find it. I figured as much. I figured that what was it likely was, but okay. All right. So we found his username. I believe. Let's go search. Punch that number and find all. Okay, it's mine. Okay, now it's frozen, or maybe frozen. I don't know. Guess you paused it. Thank God. Because to be fair, it drove me nuts hearing myself over and over.
I didn't do anything to fix anything.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. Well.
If anything, all you're hearing is yourself in the microphone through my headset.
Well, again, I don't hear anything, which I don't know how it fixed that. Does Twitch have a are you there, Discord? It's me, Margaret.
Discord's
Wait.
ass. They can't stop
Wait.
grooming people.
That's true. I love that line from fucking Deadpool. He mentioned like, "Are you there, Margaret?" His name doesn't come up. His oh wait, no, I take that back. It's trying to save, and thus can't work. Fucking angers me now. Okay. Oh my goodness, it's slowing down. Damn it. Okay. Yeah. It might. Well, no, I don't think it's spending because again, it was a sub count, like the revenue from subs.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what the like. Someone was asking. I think Moonbase like, what does negative mean? Spending?
I don't know. I have never seen a negative balance in my own account. I don't know if a negative balance is even a thing.
I might need to cross reference what the Twitch thing is, or the Twitch what their Twitch ID is. I've yet. Okay, I think I found it. Wait, no, he's not on here. No way. Okay, Vosh brings back something different, so let's try that next. Vosh brings up this ID, and the other one brings up an ID that's not found. The hell is going on here?
No, it says that his Twitch channel is actually Vosh Video.
Video.
Yes.
Oh. Okay, that's yeah. I put Vosh V. Vosh Video. Let me try that real quick.
VIDYA.
Yeah, I put that in. Something went wrong. Of course. Let me try it again. Are you fucking with me now? Because that didn't bring anything, and yet here I am staring at it. Staring at his stupid, useless channel. Okay, let me try it again. I have to put it in lower. Okay, I do have to put it in like lower. Okay, so let's try that again. I think it might have been this. It looks almost similar. Let's see. Punch in the ID and we'll get banned. Ugh. Everything's grind to a halt alongside my fucking computer. What is? Oh wow, it's like it literally is at like gigabyte worth of memory. Just process this fucker. That sounds about right. Okay. Wait, did it not find it?
I don't know. Were you not able to get the compiled lists that already had names on them?
This is from the dump itself. No.
It's just from the dump itself? Okay.
That's why, yeah, it's not found. It's probably because it's... Well, one sec. Let me, I'll pull up a different one.
Like, we don't have to keep looking for it.
I want to know how much Vosh makes, fucker!
You can see it offline!
Well, you know, I'm gonna...
You can always just tweet it out later.
Sorry, I'm OCD. Anyway, what do you need?
I just wanted you to put the fucking numbers on the screen.
I did!
Yes.
Damn it!
Yes. So, like, all that,
Give me a sec.
to my point, is that that's the actual reality of, like, the back end of what Twitch really is when it comes to numbers. Your ad revenue count, your actual payout amount for your subs, the payout amount that you make from bits, etc., right? Of all the names that you could go down through in a list, because I know that the numbers still exist on Twitter only because people did screenshots of them. See if I can find the easy ones. Here we are. Do-do-do-do. But the numbers that come from the better collated list, you can see the names of a lot of people, because this is what I want you to actually see when you look at the names of users.
Okay, yeah, I apologize for that.
It's fine. It's fine. So you have Riot as a whole. You have a bunch of people who are affiliated with other groups, like team members who are part of streaming organizations, like TSM. You have a bunch of literally who's. Then you have people like Quackity, Sinticta,
Oh, a bit drummer. I love him.
Admiral Baru,
Good
Dr.
man.
Lupo, Rubius,
Wait.
Hey Money Wubby, Trainwrecks TV, Pokimane, Tommy Idnit, Soda Poppin', Ninja, Amaranth, Odablock. And then up into the list, Critical Role, XQC, Summit G1, Tefue, Nick Merckx, Ludwig, Tim the Tatman, Arn Play, Lyric, Asmongold, Asana Tyler One, Know Nothing TV, he's the one who put this particular one together. That's why his is listed as 0. Moon, Critical, Miskiff, Co-Carnage, Shroud. That is the payouts.
Yes, I think you actually are the only one watching Moon. I'm sorry.
Oh, Moon is like old school. He just happens to be
he's
over...
he's the only one, Moonbane is the only one watching.
Ah,
yeah,
yes, that's fine. But this is the numbers of what effectively break down the reality of how people see things. A lot of these people are only going to recognize because of the drama that happens around them and the people who are affiliated with them that they happen to be co-streaming with. Because a couple of months ago, realistically like 4 months ago, they realized that they could be as lazy as fuck as they wanted to by just doing Rust streams over and over again. Because the co-stream and collaborative meta means that you don't have to put in effort. So, going back all the way with just Caterino, when you have somebody who's able to build an audience of their own off of drama, this is the reality of what you get into, because this is why they would do it. That's why she was so sad to get removed from Temple Storm, because that means she doesn't get to have this. And when you see the names here on this list, it becomes much easier to understand why the industry would be broken like this. Now, is it going to be possible to fix it as a whole? I don't fucking know. But it's not going to happen by itself. If you want it to change, you're going to have to change it from the inside by changing the attitude and culture of the people who already follow you. And that's all you can really do. Every individual stream unto itself is its own closed-off space. That's why people like Carnage wanted to make it possible that you have people who are able to have that space, and they don't feel that they have to be like everyone else. Because being like everyone else is what makes it boring. But at the same time...
Remember, kids, you're special, just like everyone else. Until next time. Anyway.
What makes it bad is that when you get to the point that you're this big, things become diluted in a sense of importance. You can't actually address what a problem is because you have to get everybody to agree on what that problem is. For an e-girl who's not getting enough money because she's not having enough simps, she's going to believe that her revenue is not popping because, oh my god, you guys just won't let me do what I want. Whereas if they let her do what they want, it's going to drive the website down even further to the only people who would process payment information being the only payment processor that works with porn. Because this was another thing that was revealed before last time when both himself and myself talked about it. When it came up to drama concerning just payment processors in general and OnlyFans. Because I work in a financial institution where I handle and I make credit cards and we put together the jobs to send your fucking shit out to you, you fucking spenders. The process of a chargeback is actually not as simple as you tell them to take your money out. It's actually a multi-step process. And ultimately, this is the thing that Twitch gets fucked by as much as any other thing that has online business gets fucked by, and the thing that makes all of this what it is. It's why donations are the way that they are. And it's the reason why the system is the way that the system is. Because a lot of the payment system being based on, no, we're not going to give you the money as they subscribe directly. We're going to give it to you once you hit a payout point, is because that allows them to fight chargebacks. But it also fucks over the creator. Because if the person cancels their thing, or if the money falls out of revenue, if they literally aren't able to make enough of an audience that they can have that money come to them directly, Twitch keeps all of that. So, with all of those people who you're showing there, I'm possibly certain that those might be people who might have actually canceled their contracts as...
I can see that.
They will cancel their contracts as as affiliates. Because the money actually stays in there for a full year. If you don't make enough within the pay period, which is the $100, if you don't get that $100 within that pay period, then it gets to the point that it flows over to the next one, or it just cancels it and then they keep it. They literally take it from you. That's why people started going to Patreon. That's why people started going to Subscribestar. It's why people would prefer using Ko-fi. It's why I use Ko-fi.
Subscribestar also uses the same payment processors you were aforementioned adult payment processors for the record.
Mm-hmm. There's multiple ones of them. You have Skrill, you've got Stripe, you've got that one.
Stripe doesn't do it anymore. Well, they did some, but
they did, but they removed it, and now it's still like a thing because you have to still give them the tax information. But it's not a very big document, but you still have to give them that tax information so they're in compliance with U.S. law. But it's all of that is put together to basically prop up Twitch as bigger than it is, because that's basically money that they're using to inflate the value of the company. Because if there's one thing that you can say Twitch is actually useful for, it is that it is basically the front page of gaming. But not because it's actually the front page of gaming. It's because here's all these people, and if we really just want to get someone's opinion about it, who are we going to go to? We're going to go to one of these top 100 streamers that we only know the names of, and we're going to take from them, and we're not going to listen to the people who might be the professionals and the specialists at it. The likelihood that you're going to come to Carl to explain what's happening with the news story is the same likelihood that you're going to be able to see an article from Richard Lewis or from Thorin talking about what's happening, or talking about from any of the actual good, legitimate esports journalists that exist in the sphere, getting their just due because of the work they put in on a topic, getting spoken over and reacted to as a video by XQC, where he then rakes in billions of dollars by doing nothing. That's where we've gotten to. It's worse than just theft. It's the devaluing of information. Because if you just go to whoever your favorite person is to get the
information bias,
you just come up with the opinion of, well, there couldn't be a problem. Like, we're eating, and I think that's the best way to express it, since technically this is all that we really have to talk about here and really have to go over. I'll leave with this. The concept of that has basically destroyed not just the social trust of Twitch, but really the social harmony of Twitch is we're eating, but fuck the rest of you. Because every streamer's out for himself. I've said that so many times before, but this is the perfect case example to say that again. Every streamer, realistically, has to be out for themselves, because they're not going to be guaranteed to get things. Getting rated by people who are in your category when a new game comes out, and you just happen to be one of the few people playing it first.
Yeah, dog eat dog and whatnot.
Being able to join on these big campaigns to play these big games that were designed specifically for Twitch, like New World, and possibly being one of those people, for example, who got their fucking computer fried because their fucking settings are unoptimized, like they always fucking are for these releases. Having the inability to be first on everything because you have a day job, and these people's day job has gotten to the point that they can literally just go live and just shitpost, literally queef into the fucking microphone, and they will make bank that week.
And people defend them like Nintendo fans.
And people want to defend them like Nintendo fans. It's an institution. It is a cottage institution. And the institution doesn't want to solve the problem, because solving the problem would actually make things better, but come at the cost of the company. And the company doesn't want to do that.
I don't want a problem. I just want to be mad. Yeah.
Well, it's worse than that for Twitch, because in Twitch's case, this hurts them indefinitely. Every single bit of drama that brings down the optics of what they are here for is a consequence that will come back to them tenfold, 100-fold even. Because now, it's no longer about, shit. My headset fell out. The fucking SWAT. It's no longer about how these problems actually just de-incentivize a person to want to be here, makes them tune the fuck out from the platform entirely. You know? You used to go to your favorite store, and then your favorite store got bought out by a company that didn't actually care about the work. They just cared about the product.
We don't really care about you.
And then you saw your favorite thing slowly over time no longer reflect what you used to love about it. It just continued to fall.
Into metaphor by what's his name, Sargon.
Yeah, it becomes that, and that's just sad to watch, because there's nothing that can save it at that point. So people are gonna keep riding this motherfucker till the wheels fall off, and that's really the end of that. There's nothing that can really be done about it other than just saying, remember the times we used to have, and just continue using other things, you know? Don't just give up and say, oh, well, fuck it. No, continue using your Twitch to proliferate, but backup plan. Go to YouTube, if nothing else.
Yeah.
That's why I restream.
Enemy or worst common denominator, whatnot, yeah.
That's why I restream. they don't enforce their rules because they have bigger problems than trying to hunt down people for violating that part of the exclusivity contract.
Bigger fish to fry and whatnot. Policing simp, yes.
And all of this wouldn't have come to pass if when people were telling them to deal with things like hot tub streams and actually use meaningful ways of punishing people like Caitlyn before the situation got out of hand. If they had done that before and addressed people's concerns instead of ignoring them and kicking the can down the road, they wouldn't be here. But they didn't do that. Now they're here. They've been suffering this consequence. It's much like how YouTube doesn't make a profit. They don't even turn a 1% profit. It doesn't help them in the long term when it comes to brand viability. And they just have to accept that it's going to stay like this. People will hope that something different will come up. Maybe it will, maybe it won't.
But again, people hope for a lot of things that are entirely out of the concept of reality.
But realistically, you have to find new shit and make new shit, and remember that it's not the only thing that's there.
Yeah, it's like as Styx puts it, get on new tech. He doesn't call it alt tech anymore. He calls the legacy media for a reason, and legacy tech or. I think he does that intentionally. And he's gone on record saying, I like him. He's cool.
Mm-hmm. But that's gonna be it from us tonight, guys. We will be back next week. Probably do that comic stream just to do something fun. And then the week after that, we'll actually be doing the Powerpuff Girls read.
Yay.
We might actually just have to do that on a Wednesday rather than a Friday because we'll make that the thing to do on Wednesday.
My dudes. I'll probably go live tomorrow, guys. Also, stay tuned because guess who's in town this week, Carl? Take a wild guess.
Squid.
Who?
Squid.
Who's Quid?
Squid.
Don't know who that is.
Squid?
Oh, Squid. I fucking wish. Are you kidding me? I wish that were the case. I love Meredith. No, it's Vic. Vic Mignogna. I get to meet him this weekend for DeadCon, and I am really fucking excited.
Hot.
So stay tuned, guys. I'm gonna get a video with him, and I'm cosplaying as fucking what's his name?
Ed.
Ed? No, I don't have the build for Ed. I'm also not a girl. I'm gonna be cosplaying as Ash from Evil Dead. I even shaved my fucking face to do so. Anyway, sorry.
Cool. All right. So we will see y'all next time. We love you all collectively. Bye. We will see you at the same bad time, same Carl channel. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Good night, Chief. I'm Cloud.